Hello and welcome to the first episode of the podcast. Today we're going to cover subjects such as JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 6, episodes 1 to 12, Miss Marvel episode 1, and lots of other things as well. First off, talk about Miss Marvel. So, first off, I love how they started with how she was a huge fan of Captain Marvel, and they went through that whole circle of designs and stuff, being imaginative and creating a video and like her sliding a thing across. And I have some notes down here. I liked some of the references, like when they were going into the school and they were talking about Super Smarrows, and that's something, that's a reference to a Nintendo game. And I also liked learning about what her life was like, and so it was like Pakistani. And so what they would do is have her Pakistan life, and it's quite amazing, like how they did it and treated the people, and how her mother was like very angry at her a couple of times and tried to ensure that she was responsible enough to be able to go to Avengers Con, and then when she came back it was like what to say about that. So it's quite the big dynamic. I like the character. I like the people who played the um, family members, and that was actually quite clever choice. And um, her struggle with school life was a bit of a difficult situation, I'd say, because like most of you might have been through school, and so it's more towards no sort, and it makes you understand how they feel, and like what sort of work they'd be doing and that sort of thing. Uh, well, another thing I was how the origin of her powers came from the bracelets. I don't really like how they've done the powers, like having her like stretch out and stuff, and have it almost diamond sort of thing. Well, not diamond, but cosmic power sort of thing. I didn't really feel like that did so well, because in the comics, what they did was they actually had her be able to stretch and like have massive hands and stuff like that. But I can understand why the directors of Miss Marvel wanted to keep her powers completely different to Reed Richards, even though we've barely seen it. We've seen his powers a couple of times in the old ones with the Fantastic Four, and then Fantastic Four Silver Surfer, and then Fantastic Four the reboot, and then hopefully, we did see him in Doctor Strange, but it was a cameo. And hopefully in the future, a Fantastic Four reboot made by actual Marvel Studios. But Miss Marvel, I like how her bracelets were originally her Nana, and so it actually shows that her Nana might have had something to do with cosmic power and stuff like that. So it goes on a bit like that. Well, Avengers Con, one of my favorite bits, I'd say. Like there were a bunch of references towards all different heroes. There was Mjolnir, which Zoe ended up swinging on, and then was saved by Marla Kern, and with her new powers so that she could land softly. And there was also a bunch of Hulk dice. There was an Ant-Man where you could stand and like sit on his hand, making you look tiny. And there was also a sign that said thank you to Natasha and Iron Man for their advice. And in Endgame, the whole thing. I did really enjoy that the reference like that, and how it was quite good. And there were a couple ones to Steve, Captain America, and that sort of thing. And I just feel like it was very good, and like it's good for a first step. I'm going to talk more about more episodes in the coming weeks. I'm doing a podcast every Friday, and so moving on to Obi-Wan Kenobi. First off, I'm not that big a fan of Star Wars. You may hate me for that or something, but I like how they linked most of the last 4 episodes to these episode 4, 5, and 6. And then I can't remember the other ones. I haven't really seen much of them, but before I did, before I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, I went back and watched the episodes, and Ewan McGregor and the guy who plays Anakin, can't remember his name at the moment, they were actually pretty well. Ewan McGregor was really amazing, and he did a lot of action, and that was quite amazing, and lots of stuff like that. The CGI in these films, they've kind of gotten a little better, I'd say, because of the times and stuff. Like it was filmed back in 1990s, and nowadays, what the people look like in those films, like the Ewoks, the droids, Darth Vader, that has grown a lot, and it was quite amazing, I'd have to say, because it's grown over time, and like I said, because of in the past and stuff like that, and they wanted to make it a lot better and that sort of thing. And so the storyline for each episode was quite amazing, and like, but for me, it has started to get a little slow because like it was a short episode this week, and it was quite amazing what they had done with trying to make a series in between episodes, episode 6 and episode 1, and that was quite amazing for what they had done. And then like I feel like it could be a lot better, but hopefully the next 2 episodes, which we're gonna talk about in the next 2 weeks, hopefully they either get a bit better, because if they don't get as better as I thought they would be, then hopefully I will enjoy it. And yeah, as a like part Star Wars fan, I would say it's doing the best it can. Like at the start, I was like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's a great one. Ewan McGregor is one of the greatest actors in Star Wars history, and he's done such a great job with these last 4 episodes. Even though it has been a bit of like a hard time, and like how they've tried to like fit things in between certain episodes of the films, and hopefully it does get a lot better and stuff like that. So um yeah, we're gonna move on now to the next part, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Episode 1 to 12. First off, I want to say Netflix is such a stupid thing when it comes to anime. Well, most anime, I'd say, but especially JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. In an episode, I am going to talk about how much I hate Netflix and how much they ruin JoJo's, but Netflix, get a grip. This is JoJo's. These episodes have been apart since December 1st, 2021, and it's coming out, or the next set, 21, well, no, 13 to, let's say, 22. They're coming out in autumn. The only thing I don't like about this thing is the fact we haven't got a chance to speak for Anna Sui to speak. And I'm gonna, but not the podcast, but I'm gonna end my discussion there, because later on in the podcast, if you enjoy this, so you can keep listening to more and more, then you'll learn about how much I hate what Netflix has done. But back to JoJo Part 6, Episode 1 to 12. Episode 1, like how Jolene got into prison. And it's a 50-50 situation. It's all right, but it is all right, because you start off learning about her and how she loves this guy called Romeo, and how they went out driving, and then suddenly this is spoilers if you haven't seen it, but hopefully you have, because it's been 6 months since it's come out. But a guy throws someone in front of the car, crashing into it, and then that's how Jolene gets sentenced to Green Dolphin Street. And so that's when they go to well, they don't. She gets sentenced to a prison. She has a masturbation scene, which isn't shown, luckily, even though the show on Netflix would be 18 plus. But she goes to a prison, and then she gets transferred to Green Dolphins, and they have the whole court scene, and she meets Hermes. Hermes in this film, series, in this series so far, she's actually quite a decent person, I'd say. She design looks all right. She's a little off, but they got it as close as they really could. Um, and then once they've gone to Green Dolphin Street, Hermes gets attacked. Jolene gains her stand when she's talking to her lawyer from the arrow cut that her dad gave her. I loved how they used the music. They opened it. She opened the thing, and then the Stardust Crusaders Joestar started playing. And that was amazing, and I love what they did with it, and it actually showed what her mother partly looked like. Even though I am a bit sided on it, because in the manga she had brown hair, and there was even a scene with her meant to be in there. I wanted that scene in there, but they changed it to something completely different, and it actually worked out a lot better, I'd say. And then after Green Dolphin Street, and they come across some more Stan users because she decided to chuck the amulet, yeah, down the drain. Hermes finds it. She cuts herself. She ends up in bed hospital, and then she freaks out, and we actually end up seeing her stand, which is designed perfectly, I'd say. And same with Jolene's stand. All stands are perfect. And then they each have a thing. They each have an episode. Jolene, now this bit from Hermes moving into the burning down house to Jolene getting pushed in, burning down the house. We meet more characters. Emporio, Weather Report, and Anasui. Anasui not having any words. And then afterwards, we have Lang Wrangler scene, or Jumping Jack Flash his stand. And then they have a whole air battle with Weather controlling the ability of Weather. And it's actually quite an amazing battle. I love how they changed it. They switched it round and stuff like that. And every so often you get the best sort of thing as possible. And Weather Report is one of my favorite characters, so I'll probably come back to him in a bit. But we've got to talk about the Jotaro scene. That was amazing. Even though Emporio don't go in there, because he knew John Gallier, who was the next big villain, well, next villain, was going to attack. And he also knew there was going to be goo that would land both Jotaro and Jolene. And Jolene wanted to go in there because he thought her mother would be there. But now goes in, finds Jotaro, and is like, boo, and knocks out a guard because she doesn't want to leave Jotaro. And then the whole John Gallier fight scene happens, and it's quite amazing. Animators are just so amazing. This can go for any anime. One Punch Man, Dragon Ball Z, Academia, all sorts of things. They make animation good, but This fight was amazing. And then Jotaro obviously ends up in a coma, and he becomes he's quite unconscious, and we ended with Jolene sending a note to Speedwagon found no sending a DVD. Sending a disc to the Speedwagon Foundation. Now, Poochie, Nat was amazing. He looks great. He looks great. He looks amazing. Also, the fact that we got to see his appearance in Foo Fighters episode. That was amazing. He was holding something, and then and then a guard said, "Sir, thumbs up," and we get to look at him, and he is amazing. Like, what he did right at the end is unforgivable, but his ability, Whitesnake, before it becomes the other things, were it's really amazing. And that sort of like post-credit scene right at the end, he's talking to a completely different person. He's like, he's behind, he doesn't want anyone to know what his ID is. So what he did was he hid behind the pillar, talked as if he was Whitesnake, and then got some more identity stuff. Okay, let's talk about side characters and mini villains. Okay, first off, we'll talk about the mini villains. The Rat Girl, she wasn't really one of my favorites. She's a bit forgettable per se, but Gwess, her name is. She pops in every now and again. I'm a huge fan. I don't like what she did. Next up was it was the bill collector. Yeah, she had a stand that was like, "Oh, or they take some part of your body," and that's how she money. Like, it was very unsatisfying. But when Hermes didn't have enough money, she went like bam and took her liver out. Jeez. And then side characters: Weather, Anna Sweet, Foods, Emporio. Okay, out of all of them, Anna Sweet didn't do that much. Was stand by a piano and then walk out a room. That's all we're going to say about Anna Sweet. He's going to come soon, hopefully, once the autumn thing is up. Second one, let's talk about now whether he is one of the greatest characters. Like, how can you not like Weather? He great one, memory loss thing. And this isn't, if you haven't read the manga, then this is a bit of spoiler, but he is Poochie's brother, and Poochie loses memory because they had a crush on the same girl. And so Weather decided to hang himself. I don't know how they're going to do that in the anime, but for just seeing his legs. If his legs are there, we know he's done something bad and, hung himself. I really want to move on to Foo Fighters. Now, Foo Fighters was a who she went with them to a farm, and then they got attacked by some plankton. This is because Poochie decided to chuck a disc into some water, and it landed in some plankton, and that's how the plankton got the stand. And then because, God, I don't want to talk about this, but one of the prisoners blew up because they weren't to the chaperone. And then what was the plankton took the form of her body and recreated herself as Foo Fighters. And she likes to drink blood. She had this crazy scene where she was like on Jolene and Ermy's arms. Then and then they were just training her to be as sensible as possible by let her drink out of a cup and stuff like that. Okay, next up we're going to talk opening. The opening was quite colourful, I'll say. And then there were some references if you didn't get it. There was a on the bus. It went by in a snap. There was a zip, which is a reference to Bruno Bucciarati. And then the piano scene. This is the one we focus on. Arena's doll, Lucas' shovel, Joseph's Walkman, and then there's some other that linked to other JoJo's. Dio stop sign and stuff like that. And then right at the end, before it flicks to the next one, is a little circle with a hippie sign on it, which if you didn't know, is on a shirt. That's a lot of things. But yeah, there were quite a few things, and there was like, if you saw the opening, you'd know, and you saw some things, and there was like Jotaro in the room with Jolene, and then you go through a vent, and that kind of is the scene with John Gallier, and then the slime goes down onto Jotaro and Jolene. And then there's also one where Foo Fighters is holding, and that's the scene with the and then there's another one where Weather is standing there, and then right in the back you see Lang Wrangler, and something to talk about. And then to end this all off, we're going to talk about the One Piece Legend sets, the most anticipated part. This, I've got my One Piece shirt on through, but if you don't know, the live action sets for the live action One Piece movie have been put out there. So many things. So there's Arlong ship, and there's the Baratier. And there's a bit where Zoro fights I don't know. I can't remember his name, but Mihawk. That set's been revealed, and I think that's it at the moment. And first off, impressions are set so hard. They look exactly how they did in the manga and the anime. The set creators have done much work. They look so good, and it's amazing. Like with the Baratier, actually almost looks like it. Well, it looks like it quite a bit. And in Arlong ship, you have the fish with their mouth open and that sort of thing. And with the Zoro and Mihawk fight, it's just a play basically, and behind it is the Baratier and stuff. And they've done so much, and they even got Luffy, the actors playing Luffy, to actually announce it. They just put it on there, and it looks absolutely amazing, and it's crazy. And one thing to add on, we got some One Piece Odyssey. Boy, does the game look amazing. It's basically open world One Piece. It's not like it's crazy. You play as the in their designs as they were after Sabaody. That is good. What they've done with the trailer for that was crazy, and I can't wait to play it and share news on it. Like once I played it, like this, and this, and it's gonna be crazy. Join me next week where we are going to be talking more Miss Marvel episode 2, Kenobi episode Kenobi episode 5. We're going to talk about Chainsaw Man manga, and we've seen a bit of anime, so we might even talk a little bit about that. And Joe Dominion is coming out today, actually, but I'm going to go one point, and hopefully I'll see you then. We've even got a little bit of Mario Strikers. So hope you enjoyed this podcast, and thank you very much for listening.